Hi there, welcome back to FPL Focus. It's me, Paul, and this is my bus team and initial transfer thoughts for Game Week 5. Interested? Come and see what I'm thinking. Now we are heading into an international break, so anything can happen. These are the initial thoughts. The games are still to be played. Injuries could curtail any of these plans, but these are my thoughts, and these are the players I'm sort of really keeping an eye on going into this game week. So how do I look before any transfer business takes place? Well, I put Pickford on the bench. I'm bringing Turner in against Burnley at home. I just think that's a no-brainer up against Arsenal. Although we did keep a clean sheet last season, beating them 1-0. So who knows? But yes, I think that'll be the choice I'll be making. Chilwell up against Bournemouth away. Happy with that. Bit of a tough one, I think. ESTUPINAN, Man United away. And that is one of the players I'm considering removing. But only considering. I shall build on that shortly. Udogie, no problem at all. He's Sheffield United at home. Actually got the vice captaincy on at this early stage. Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, I like their fixtures moving forward. If you look at their fixtures after Arsenal, it's Brighton at home, then Burnley, Palace, Brentford, Sheffield United away. So I'm not really looking at moving either of those two on unless they get an injury this week. Højlund looks like he could be starting this weekend, so Rashford back in his preferred position. Mount is out, who was the biggest worry for me at United because he seemed to really mess up what they were doing. Eriksen, for me, gives them way more balance. I'm very happy with my triple City attack at this moment in time until I feel that needs to move on. And then it's Odegaard and Saka for Arsenal, and it's possibly, and I can't believe I'm actually saying this, it's possibly Odegaard is the player I may look to remove. And I shall show you why in a moment. Albeit I do think he could get a good haul against Man United this week. Certainly get on the goal scoring sheet. But that may or may not make a difference in my decision making. Saka as a penalty taker, far too highly owned, still at 66% owned for me to take that risk this early in the season to be going without him. And yes, I am playing the numbers game slightly, a little bit more than I did last season. Julian Alvarez at West Ham United away, no problem having him in either. And Haaland, obviously, no problem there whatsoever. So that brings me to, what am I thinking? Well, this is the team as it stands. I do have an issue with Bayer, but I'm not so worried. He's due back as well, so I'll have two £4 million playing defenders from Game Week 5. Just seen the team news for Everton just come out. Branthwaite has started as per my predictions, so very happy to see that indeed. I've got a first bench playing option should one of these City players be rested by Pep against an easier fixture. So what am I thinking of? Well, ESTUPINAN, and this is a transfer I've been talking about since the season first kicked off. Game Week 5, Newcastle's fixtures turned, and I've got the exact money, and this is part of the reason I took Shaw out for Branthwaite, to go ESTUPINAN to Kieran Trippier. Okay? Exact money completely. The only thing is, I've been and had a quick little look, and I thought I'd just share this with you now, is you look at Trippier for last season, the whole season versus Trippier this season, there's a marked difference. And I get that they've had a few tough fixtures, but in this run they've beaten Aston Villa 5-1, so that they've had a good result there as well. Albeit they've struggled a little bit more in the last two. But last season he had an average of 5.32 points per game. Per 90 minutes, and 1.33 this season. Interestingly, if you then go and have a look at his first half of the season, he was on nearly 7 points per game, 5 assists in that time, 1 goal. Expected assists at 0.37, much lower for this part of the season. But even more interestingly, I think, is if you go and have a look at the second half of the season, he completely dropped off. 74 points in that period. Nowhere near as good. Averaging 3.81 per game. Certainly not like premium sort of like levels. 4 assists in 18 games, so not massive in that department either. Expected assists have dropped down, and I just think that's not what we're sort of looking at. If you look at the heat map as well, and this is what I'm worried about, you've got Tonali playing now, who's putting in some coming up on that right hand side, and it looks to me as though he's not quite getting as far forward. You've obviously got the likes of Miguel Almiron as well, playing in this right hand forward slot at the start of the season, but I'm just a little bit worried he's not getting forward as much. I mean, if you look, no shots. I mean, there wasn't lots anyway. This is half a season, but he was averaging 1 every 2 games, but he's had none whatsoever. He's had more touches in the box, but only 4 touches in the box. I'm just wondering if that was just in 1 game. Yeah, and expected assists again is lower in that period of time. He's only created 1 big chance. No through balls at all. Crosses are less than they were, which also indicates he's not getting quite as far forward. So yeah, I'm just a little bit concerned, and I'm certainly not jumping on that straight away. Particularly if you look at the second half of last season as well. ESTUPINAN. So this is good games, hard games, tough games. ESTUPINAN comes top of that range as well. And then if you look at this season, and they've lost a game as well, Brighton. But look, this season so far, big chances. ESTUPINAN's had 1. He's had 4 shots in the box, 3 shots on target, 5 shots overall. More crosses into the box, 3 big chances created, and his expected assists are 1.6 overall compared to Trippier's at 0.7. So it's a transfer I've been looking at for a long time, but I'm not, unless Trippier like pulls it out of the bag this weekend, and ESTUPINAN really looks like, because the fixtures are tougher, I don't think I'm going to go on that. But it is one I've been planning, and I have the funds for it, so it could well be an option. The other option I'm looking at is, if I go back to this team here, I've discussed Odegaard. And he's a player I've been talking about, I've been writing about in my More Than a Game article that I've been doing for Substack, is to remove Martin Odegaard for James Maddison. He's got a couple of tough fixtures, but 2 newly promoted teams. He's playing 1 today, so I am a bit gutted not to have him in my team, especially since I've been talking about him for so long. But I think he is the player. Now, obviously, the international break is coming along. Any of these midfielders could get injured in that period of time, representing their countries. And if they do, then Maddison would be the one that came in for the one that got injured, basically. He's my top choice midfielder at this moment in time. Other players I'm watching this week. Let me just show you the stats as to why. Odegaard versus Odegaard last season. So this is the whole of last season, and this is this season. I don't think he's getting in the box as much, although he has been having more shots. He's only had 1 goal, and that was a penalty. Look at that, 23 attacking returns last season. He's now played 3 games and only had the 1, which was a penalty. I'm fully expecting a haul from him today, which may or may not change my mind. If he does get a haul, I think he still might go, to be honest with you, depending on how he performs and where his position is on the pitch, because 3 shots in the box, average 1.03 shots to 1.35, so that's less. He's been getting more shots on target, to be fair, but look at this, big chances created, 0. Expected assists total over 3 games, 0.2. That's not good, 0.07. So crosses a little bit less, chances created a lot less. And there has been more through balls, though, if I remember rightly. Yes, he's been, and that could just be down to the fact he's playing with Eddie Nketiah in some of these games, and he just prefers that ball a little bit more, and maybe we'll see a little bit more of a change. But Odegaard, the player I was desperate to have in my team last season, is the one I'm considering, and did well for me in the second half. Was one of those players that really helped me climb those ranks in the last part of the season. So I can't believe I'm talking about getting rid of him. But when you compare him to Maddison, I think it almost looks a no-brainer. 1 goal, 2 assists. Expected points are higher. Expected goals are higher for Maddison. You'd expect that to be the other way around, to be honest with you. Big chances. Maddison, shots in the box. Maddison, shots on target are equaling, to be fair. More touches in the box for Maddison. More final third pass. Oh, sorry, not quite as many final third passes. Same amount of through balls. Way more crosses. 25 crosses. Chances created 9. Big chances created 2. And expected assists at 1.3. So I'm thinking this one almost feels like a no-brainer. We'll see. We'll see how this weekend goes. We'll see how the international break goes in terms of injuries and things like that. I'm really keen to bring Beto in. He starts today, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. Maybe that's just my Everton glasses, but we have got some good fixtures as well, and for that would be a replacement for Julian Alvarez. If I do go Odegaard to Maddison and leave the defence as it is, then I do actually have enough money to upgrade my Mbama 4.5 to Beto, and then he can become a bench option for me as well. We shall see. We shall see what happens there. Brennan Johnson, he's another option. Now he's at Spurs as well. So a couple of options there and people I'm going to be watching this weekend. Right, that's it. We're supposed to be a bit quicker. It hasn't been. Have a lovely weekend. Hope your game week 4 returns loads and loads of points. And I shall see you here later in my shed for FPL Focus. Take it easy. See you later.